Having trouble with your kids, whether they're young or old, wondering what's going on? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the problem. I am your host, Kim B. Miller, Prince William County, Manassas, and Manassas Park, Virginia, Poet Laureate Emerita, author, speaker, facilitator, spoken word poet, haikuist. Let's get into today's subject. Hey, great people. So, today is one of those subjects near and dear to my heart because for some of you who do not know, I am a parent advocate and I teach parenting classes. And before that, I work with people on parent alienation. So, parenting, and I am a parent of four, two from the heart, two from the stomach, two added to my heart through marriage, and two pushed out the old fashioned way. So, with that in mind, let's talk about parenting and parenting fails because as I deal with a lot of parents, I get a lot of questions. So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can in these 17 minutes. This podcast is only 17 minutes. Why 17 minutes, you say? Because I feel if I can write a haiku in 17 minutes, 17 syllables, I should be able to cover this subject in 17 minutes. Obviously, it's not going to cover everything. So, parents, let's talk about some parenting fails. A lot to which I see, a lot to which I'm told, a lot to which I've dealt with. No parent is expected to be perfect. This is live, so I'm not going to be re-recording it and changing it and all that. All the mistakes in there will stay. Anyway, proceeding. Parenting fails. One, parentification. Why do we do this, parents? And some of you are like, there are so many phrases. And I get it. I do get it. There's a lot of phrases out. There's a lot of new words to learn. There's a lot of, I'm not going to call them slogans, knowledge we can get, but parentification is basically when you have someone step into a role of a parent that they didn't ask for. Example, you have several kids and you keep having kids because you want to, and that's your business, but you expect your older kids to play the role of parent, and they didn't ask for that role. And then when they actually want some time to themselves, you act like how dare they when you need them. But they didn't have kids. You are the why can't they have a life? And I'm not just talking about kids you currently have that are young. I'm talking about you people who are parents of full grown adults. And you wonder why they don't speak to you and why they don't spend time with you. Why would they want to spend time with someone who never made sure they had time for themselves? Why would they want to spend time with someone who never listened to them when they were younger? Hey, I'm overwhelmed. This is too much with the kids. Hey, I'd like to have some time to myself. Hey, I'd like to. And you go, you'll be fine. Family helps our family. But you weren't helping them out. Where was the family helping them out? You got grown adults carrying around hurt and pain that you caused that you haven't acknowledged because you're putting it under that umbrella. Family helps family. They didn't. Some of these kids didn't get a childhood. They're grown people now having their first opportunity to do kid stuff because they were so bogged down with parental responsibility. And then if they cried out for help, you ignored them. You dismissed them. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Oh, you could do this. Oh, oh, oh. But some of you weren't doing it. You gave them the responsibility of a parent that they didn't ask for or want. And I get that you may have needed help. I get that you couldn't afford daycare, babysitters, and all that stuff costs a lot of money. But that doesn't mean it was their job. Did you explain to them? Did you show any empathy? Or was it family helps our family? We have got to start owning our own garbage as parents. We have to. Let's stop with the, oh, well, I did the best I could. Maybe the best you could was crap. Hey, if you've never been here before, we're talking truth on truth. Maybe the best you could was crap to them. Their perception is their reality. You don't get to erase their reality because it doesn't sound nice to you. And you have this thing in your head of how great everything was, even though it wasn't great. Again, this is about facts and realness. If now you're starting to realize, dang, that was me. I I didn't realize. Sorry, still works now. It still works. A real one. Next, let's get to y'all who started the competition. Oh, I didn't start any competition in my house. I don't know what you're talking about. Trade it. Oh, your brother's so good in math. I wish you were good like him in math. Oh, your sister, look how she does her chores. Look how she keeps things in order. I wish you could do things like that. Then you create a competition between the two. And then you wonder why they're always arguing and trying to one up each other and trying to outdo each other because you created the competition. You put them against each other. You are the one who first stated to them, you are versus this person. But that's not what I meant. I meant for them to see the greatness in their sibling and to try to find ways to emulate that. Well, that's not what they heard. They heard so and so is great and I'm not. They heard so and so is so good at this. Look how great they are. Why can't you be more like them? You aren't it. They heard, for some, I love so and so so much more than you. You're not as good as they are. That's what they heard. But that wasn't my intention. Your intention is not what is delivered. What is delivered is what is delivered. So then you made this conflict in your house of, well, I'm going to show them I can do better at this, and I'm going to show them I can do better at this. And you say, why are they always like that? You, you are why they're always like this. And don't get me wrong, please hear me clearly. Siblings are going to argue, siblings are going to fight, siblings are going to disagree because that's what siblings do. Absolutely. Not all, but most. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the situation that you set up, the situation that you have created because you spend all day talking about how great this one is. Next one, the golden child syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. It's very seldom that I meet someone who does not feel that the parent had a golden child. This child could do no wrong. This was the child they obviously favored. This is the one that they talked about. This was the one. This was the one. And if you think the golden child doesn't know that they're the golden child and the others don't know that they are, you're kidding yourself. And before you say, I didn't have a golden child, if your child, the golden one, knows they're the golden one and the other ones know they aren't, you had one. It's just that simple. We are so stuck on intention versus truth that we ignore truth. Someone comes to you and say, I'm hurting because you did this. You're my parent. You did this and it hurt me. And you go, well, that wasn't my intention, so you shouldn't be hurt. But they are hurt. Deal with what you caused. Deal with their perception. Deal with it. If you have a golden child in your heart, mind, or one you thought you never showed, it showed. And some of you are so blatant, it's not even a question of whether or not you have a golden child. It's whether or not you have other children at all. They have felt left out their entire life. And some of these are grown children now who won't speak to you, and you blame them and not yourself. And this is not the blame game. Before you go, Kim, you want me to blame everything? It's not about that. It's about you recognizing the harm you caused and doing better. It's about recognizing what you did and doing better. It's about recognizing your intention wasn't delivered and doing it better. And there's no intention when it comes to golden children, by the way. So let's stop with that. Let's stop with my intention. No, you left the rest of your children out. You made them feel less than. You made them feel incapable. That's what happens when you pick a golden one. What do you think the rest feel? Great? And for some of you, this is the first time you're having that sort of real conversation where someone's telling you the truth about parenting and about how you parented them. And if you get forwarded this video, one of these things is you. And they're waiting for you to recognize that one of these things is you. Please don't sit back and say, I don't know why you sent this to me. This isn't me. I don't know. Instead, look back over your life and say, wow, what in here could I have done that they see that I thought I didn't do or that I know I did, for the honest ones, and I need to do better, or I need to apologize, or I need to something. And then there's the ones who didn't intervene when there was a problem. You see that every time so and so goes into so and so's room, all her or his stuff or their stuff gets broken up, and you did nothing about it. Oh, it's kids being kids. It's not kids being. Why is all my stuff getting broke up? If they went in your room and broke up all your stuff, it wouldn't be kids being kids. All of a sudden, it'd be time to get the rules out. Why do you let that continue day after day, month after month, year after year? Teach them how to respect other people's things so that when they go in the world, they can respect other people's things. Because guess what? When they go mess up somebody else's stuff, everybody's not going to be as understanding. Lessons start at home. So you have a child or children where one child was allowed to do whatever they want with all their stuff, and they didn't have to share anything, they didn't have to do anything, and you made this situation their life. And you wonder why they're not speaking to you, they're not talking to you. They're saying, go get your favorite, go get the one you protected, go get the one you looked out for when you need something. What are you calling me for? Because that's the situation you created in your household. My stuff, can I have a few things? Obviously, if you had a rule that people shared, fine. But some of you only had a rule for certain kids. Some of your children. Some got to keep all their stuff because it was theirs. And others, well, oh, your brother was only kidding. Oh, your sister didn't mean. Did they say that or are you saying it? Why did some have to apologize for everything? It felt like they were apologizing for breathing, and others got to destroy their stuff. And, kids will be kids. Children will be children. The blinders that you put on has hurt your child or children. It's time we as parents started owning our failures and recognizing it. There's grown people, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, still 90s, still dealing with the pain of something a parent did or how they were treated by a parent. You said, oh, you're such an exaggerator. Stop it. Ain't nobody. Really? So why is it when you go to counseling, one of the first things they ask you about is your childhood? If childhood has no relevance on a grown adult, why is it when a grown adult goes to counseling, that's one of the first things they ask about? Because it has so much relevance. See? So we can recognize stuff when we want to recognize stuff. So now, for those of you who have younger kids, you're doing it to them right now. You're making the war in your house. You're making the competitors. You are the one who is setting this up and getting mad when they fulfill the setup that you have. This wasn't based on just kids who are grown. This is what I'm talking about is for kids of every age because they're all hurting under these sort of situations. Parentification, parent alienation is another thing. Because you no longer get along with your ex does not mean, and please understand, I'm not talking about abuse, neglectful situations, or anything of that magnitude, mental abuse, any of that. I'm talking about for parents who just don't get along anymore or are not together anymore. That's solely what I'm talking about. For you to cut off that parent because you are no longer with them, or they cheated on you, or blah, 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 your kid didn't have anything to do with that. And for you to say negatively, you're just like your father, you're just like your mother. What did you want them to do with that? What did you want them to do with that? You wanted them to feel bad, and congratulations, you won. Doesn't winning feel great? To have a child who thinks less of themselves for something they had no control over, who their parent was? And because you're no longer with that parent, you're going to make them pick a side? The only side they should be picking is love. Why can't they love both of you? Again, I already talked to you. Abuse and all that stuff is not included in this example. I'm talking about just because y'all broke up, you grew apart, you're no longer together, met different people, affair, whatever the case is. But you're not satisfied because you want your child to be an enemy of your ex too. Your child should not be a chess player, should not be a pawn in your game of revenge chess. I'm going to say it again. Your child should not be one of the pieces you use on your board in your when you're playing revenge chess. That's not their job. And by the way, while you're playing revenge all the time, you're missing opportunities for you too. Because when you're stuck in that revenge and I'm going to show them, you're missing opportunities in life and living for yourself. There's no way you can be in revenge land and in happiness land at the same time. It's just the two do not coexist. So don't kid yourself and say, I'm a happy person. No, not if you're in revenge land. Your kid needs for you. Your children need for you. Your adult, minor, I don't care what age children need for you to get real about the situation you've done, to get real about the things you've done, to get real, period. The time is now. I'll leave you with this haiku. Thank you so much for being here.